Alright, ladies and gents, last example. Now, number 14, you see that we have 3 terms. So that should be a clear indication that we're going to do X method. Okay? So, we have 3 terms and those numbers are huge, right? We have 8 times 168. If I do my X method, I would have to put 8 times 168 down here. But I don't want to do that because if you look close enough, each of these terms can be divided by a GCF. So what does 8, 32, and 168 have in common? Well, usually it's going to be that A term. Okay, it's going to have to be 2, 4, 8. And in this case, it's actually going to be 8. Okay, so we divide all those terms by 8. And I'm checking 168 divided by 8 is 21. And 32 divided by 8 is 4. So we have 8 on the outside because that's what we divided by. So we still have to put it on the outside. And then just simplify every other term. So we have x squared minus 4x minus 21. Okay. So then, right here, what's left over, we try to factor again. In this case, we can use the X method, or we don't have to because we have A is 1, right? But if I want to do the X method just to practice, A times C is negative 21. My B term in the middle is negative 4. And we're going to divide by 1. That's why I don't like to use the X method when A is 1, because dividing by 1 is not going to change anything. But it proves that it always works, okay? So factors of 21, that would give me 4. Which is 7 and 3. 7 has to be negative, because when I add them, I have to get negative 4. So that's a clear indicator there. And then when I multiply them, I get negative 21. So that's perfect. So then my answer would just be 8 stays there still. And now my quadratic factors into x minus 7 and x plus 3. And that would be your final answer. Okay? So just to recap what we did, I know I have 3 different videos for this and I apologize, but just to recap, when I have 3 terms, okay, I'm going to do the X method for sure. When I have 2 terms, you have to decide whether to take the square root or to divide. Okay? So that would be square root for when B equals 0. And this would be divide when C equals 0. But you should just be able to look, because look at these problems. I have 2 terms on number 11, right? Can I square root 15? Is 15 a perfect square? No. So I can't square root, therefore I have to divide, okay? So it's usually noticeable like that too, okay? I can't square root 18 or 3, so I have to divide. All right, so there you have it. That's your key. 3 terms is going to be X method, and you could use X method for every single problem I give you. 2 terms means you're going to divide or square root. And then the first step you should always do is always try to take out a GCF. Always try to take out a GCF. If you can make your number smaller, that's just going to make your life easier, right? So always try to take out a GCF. And then do the X method, or if you have 2 terms, square root or divide. Alright, that's Mr. P. We're done with factoring. Practice, 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 and you will be successful, I promise you. Alright, I'll see you in class.